Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Catching the Facts podcast here on the Catching the Facts official podcast network. I'm your host, Dan Sisk.
And I'm Schroeder.
And guys, we had such a busy week of football. Not only did we have the college football semifinal, but we also had the entire wild card round of the NFL playoffs. So there are a ton of games to get to. Eric, you ready to just dive right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Guys, we're going to start off with the news. First off, Mike McDaniel is out as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I don't think either of us are particularly surprised about this, Eric, because it was pretty clear when Tyreek Hill was smiling and laughing as he was getting carted off the field that Mike McDaniel had lost the locker room. His quote, and I this is not, me making this up. An actual quote he gave at a press conference was, "To win games, you have to win the game." That was his deepest insight, guys. He had a really solid start with Tua, but he was never able to capture the magic of that first year in Miami. Obviously he was hampered by Tua's concussions. We can't look past that, but still, just a really unfortunate situation all the way around. He'll get another job somewhere. It's looking like Cleveland might be the top, the most likely spot for him. But it's definitely interesting. So, I mean, were you surprised by this, Eric? I don't think anyone was.
No, not really. I mean, the Dolphins haven't been good for a while, and with the talent that they have, there's really no excuse. Like you said, I understand Tua's, getting hurt all the time with the concussions, but I mean, it's really no excuse. You should be winning with the roster you have. Of course, they were injured this year, but I mean, even in past years when they were perfectly healthy, they were fine, but they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, Mike McDaniel, he's still gonna get a job somewhere. He's not a bad coach, just not the right situation.
Yeah.
Um, he's a great offensive mind. I think he could be a good OC somewhere. I saw the Lions, um, are set to interview him, and then also the Falcons completed a interview with him the other day for head coaching position.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, he's gonna get a job somewhere else. It's just if you want, I think he would be better at offensive coordinator at this point.
I agree, but he's probably gonna gun for a head coaching job.
Yeah, with the
So,
money, but yeah.
I mean, it's probably gonna be, the Falcons or the Browns, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see what he can do. Because again, I think he has ability, but I agree he did hamper the roster and he lost the locker room, which is really bad.
Uh-huh.
Say what you will about other coaches who have been fired, but they don't lose the locker room sometimes.
Right.
It's a tough spot, but again, it had to be done. With this and Tua likely leaving, the Dolphins are definitely in a tailspin. They are not the organization they were. They have a lot of rebuilding to do. It's going to be really interesting to see the path they take going forward because the organization's a mess, and at this point, they have to. Starting from scratch is really the only logical path forward, and it looks like that's what they're doing. So we'll see what happens, Eric. But I think it's safe to assume that for the next 3-4 years, the Dolphins are going to be pretty irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's all I have on that story. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys. And then the other piece of news that we wanted to get to before we dive into the games was that former Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt has officially transferred to LSU to play under Lane Kiffin. And then the other big piece of transfer news is that former Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola has transferred to the University of Oregon. Now, that in particular is interesting for a number of reasons. But Eric, before we dive into Raiola, let's just talk about Leavitt and get it out of the way. I think it's a good fit. Leavitt showed a lot of poise when he was at Arizona State. He was stuck with a roster that was not particularly well constructed. In the aftermath of a lot of their big talent like Scadaboo leaving, but he did play well. In the admittedly few games of his I only saw Arizona State probably 3 or 4 times this year, but what I saw, he was good. And he really gives me Trinidad Chambliss vibes, so it tells me that Lane Kiffin has a type. And he's definitely trying to recreate that successful style with LSU, and why wouldn't he? I mean, Ole Miss is in the SEC and has been highly successful with that kind of approach, and so of course he'd want to replicate that at LSU. But I think it's a good fit. As soon as I read the headline, I wasn't even remotely surprised because I was like, of course Lane got him. It really is a good match, and I think Ole Miss will have a really solid season based on that
Yeah,
news.
this is a big signing here for LSU with Garrett Nussmeier graduating and then Michael Van Buren Jr., sorry, transferring to South Florida. This is big. Like you said, he showed a lot of poise. He's a good quarterback. He just wasn't on the right team.
Yep.
And Lane Kiffin's going to build around him. I mean, it's there's a reason why he chose LSU over a contender like Miami, which he was visiting.
Yeah.
Um, is because he knows he's going to build around him, and that's what you want. So he's going to be good. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, I think he has the potential to really break out the way Chambliss did, and that is exciting as a fan, right? To
Yeah,
see another quarterback come up and really uh you know set the sport on fire. So that is exciting from that perspective. Um Shifting over to Raiola, Eric, this is big news because last time I checked, a man named Dante Moore was the quarterback there, and he was strongly considering going to the NFL draft. As of the recording of this podcast, he has not declared, but I think it's pretty clear, Eric, that this move essentially, you know, uh, essentially locks Dante Moore up for the NFL draft. Um, I think it's a risky move on his part. I really don't think that Dante Moore is good enough to play in the NFL, quite frankly. You and I have been discussing all year about how inconsistent he's been. And I think that would only continue in the NFL. Right now, he is projected to go number 2 overall, behind Fernando Mendoza, who would be going number 1 overall to the Raiders, and he will. But in this case, there are people speculating that they could trade the number 2 overall pick. But as of right now, the Jets have the number 2 pick, in which case, poor Dante Moore is going to be thrown into a living hell. And they would be ruining his career. So this is more news in the case, this is more so news about Dante Moore because, again, it's looking like the NFL draft is in his future. And depending on whether or not the Jets trade that pick, um, I think obviously the Jets are a guaranteed slam dunk to ruin him. But I really don't think that no matter where he goes, he could be a super successful quarterback. I really don't see it. I mean, I just don't see it. Do you disagree? If you do, I would love to hear your argument because you've at times been higher on Moore than I've been this season.
yeah, I have. Especially at the beginning of the year. I mean, he was playing out of his mind. He was playing really well. And towards the back end of the year, even in the playoffs, he didn't really look that good. Um, so I mean, but yeah, like you said, he hasn't declared for the draft yet. He has a big decision to make. But like you said, with them getting Raiola, I do think he's leaving. Um, now the only way that he really could that Raiola or sorry Dante Moore could stay, they could redshirt Dylan Raiola,
I guess they could.
um, and then have him as a backup to Dante Moore. So, but I mean, I don't know, but I mean, if I'm Dante Moore, I would leave right now just because he's projected to go number 2, and he's not even playing that good. Just get the money, get that NFL money, and just that's sit on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, if he went to the Jets, he'd play immediately, which would be the kiss of death.
True. Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. That would be a disaster.
it's very true. I mean, the FBS just changed the rule today, Eric, where you can redshirt a player, and if they play in 9 games or fewer, the red shirt's still intact.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Dante Moore could start, and
Right.
Raiola would be redshirted successfully, and you could have him back up more with no issue. So that is a possibility given the rule change today. Um, I don't know, man. I just think right now my gut tells me more it will go pro. And I really think that's a mistake, but not my decision. He's making the decision, the decision that's best for his family. As you said, there's a lot of money at stake here. Getting, the signing bonus for the number 2 overall would be
Oh, yeah.
substantial, right? And so I don't blame him, but I think there's a bit of a, learning
Yeah, I
curve.
mean, if he wants to succeed, then yeah, I would probably stay, but
I would too. I guess the only thing I want to say about Raiola is that when he was healthy early on at Nebraska, he was having a really solid season. Then the injury really derailed his season. So if he can stay healthy, I do think there's potential for him to play well. Um, but I think we really gotta see what's going on with Dante Moore before we can really assess the Raiola situation. But on the surface, he's a good, not great quarterback. Which again, on the surface might be problematic for someone like Oregon, but I think at the same time I think that, Raiola is gifted enough to succeed on a team where Dante Moore was able to find success. And Dante Moore, I think we can both agree, is not elite. So I think there's potential there, but again, I don't think we can really assess Raiola before we see where Moore ends up. But yeah, I just found that to be really interesting. My immediate reaction was like, poor Dante Moore, the Jets are going to ruin this man. That was my gut reaction to reading the headline. But yeah, with the new redshirt rule, something interesting could be happening there. So we'll see what happens.
yep.
That's all I have on that story. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, moving on to the games. So Eric, we're going to start with the playoff semifinal that was happening on Thursday night. This was number 10 Miami playing number 6 Ole Miss. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, so Miami beats Ole Miss to head to the national championship 31-27. Great game. Both these quarterbacks played well. They threw the exact same completion percentage. They both went 23 for 37. Trinidad Chambliss had 277 yards with a touchdown, and Carson Beck had 268 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception that wasn't good. Yeah, this really sucks for Ole Miss. I wanted to see them win, just because I like Trinidad Chambliss. I like what Pete Golden's doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to respect Miami here, man. They have gone through the gauntlet of some of the best teams in the nation, and they weren't really even supposed to be here. So all credit to them. Carson Beck is just playing good enough. Mark Fletcher Jr. is such an underlooked aspect of this team, though. A lot of the credits going to Carson Beck just because he's the quarterback. But what Mark Fletcher's doing is just outstanding. He had 22 carries, 133 yards. I mean, you can't really play a better game.
Yeah, you can't.
Um, CJ or Malachi Tony,
Yeah,
he's
you
quick, he's
can't.
good. He played well. He had 5 receptions, 81 yards and a touchdown. That's a solid game. He was right behind Keelan Marion with 7 receptions, 114 yards and a touchdown. This offense played really well. And I knew we both knew that this was going to be a shootout with how that Georgia game went against this Ole Miss defense.
Yeah.
Um, and Miami, I don't know. Their defense is really inconsistent. Like this game, they look like last year's team with a good offense and a bad defense, giving
Sure.
up a lot of points, and it's a gritty win.
Yeah.
But if Carson Beck can close out like that, and as well as Mark Fletcher Jr., they should have no problem winning this game, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, man, I was incredibly impressed with Miami's offense in this game. I know that Ole Miss's defense is not great, particularly their rush defense is poor. I mean, no wonder Mark Fletcher had a great game. I think
Yeah,
they had like the 12th ranked defense in the SEC, not the sport, the SEC. So their rush defense was rough, and Fletcher took advantage. But yeah, man, Miami's offense, they controlled the ball, didn't they? I mean, they had what,
yeah.
four drives of 13 players or more? That's insane. I mean, that is ball possession unlike, very, 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 very few. Yeah, I mean that is incredible, incredible command of the game, and you got to give credit to Beck, man. I mean, this was a great, great game for him. Obviously, getting that final rushing touchdown is huge, and yeah, I just this was a statement, and I think it was a statement that neither of us were really expecting. We both, I know I picked Ole Miss. I don't remember. Did you pick Ole Miss?
I think so. I mean, after that Georgia game, and I mean, dude, I think we've been picking against Miami this entire
Yeah.
season, this entire playoff. I mean, they're proving us wrong, and I honestly love it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Carson Beck. I don't really like his game that much, and I've said it before, but he's playing really well right now, and you got to give props. So,
Yeah,
um,
and let's be fair, we haven't been wrong about Miami once. We've been wrong about Miami again and again and again and again and
three
again. I
times, and
mean,
when we had him out round one. So,
yeah,
I
we
mean,
really did.
for them to be in the national championship is really, really impressive.
Yes,
Um, and Ole Miss will be fine. I saw that they did decline Trinidad Chambliss's option for a 6-year return,
they
so
did.
his college career is over. What do you think about that? What do you think about them declining that? The
Good.
NCAA.
I'm thrilled. I hate these 7-year players and
Yeah,
these 6-year
yeah, can
players.
agree more.
I'm sick and tired of these 25-year-olds playing
Yep.
in the NCAA.
I mean,
I'm in favor of it.
yeah. Um, I mean, some guys in the NFL were playing with Carson Beck when he was a freshman, and now they're having, breakout years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Carson Beck came to Miami or not Miami, Georgia in 2020. He's been in college football for 5 years now. It's like it's impressive, but you have to understand, I mean, he's a veteran in college at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's old, man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's taken him really this long to kinda get going. So,
Yeah, like after the TCU blowout that Georgia had in the national championship that year, someone checked and Stetson Bennett, their quarterback, was older than Lamar. He was older than
yeah.
a couple like there he was older than like 5 or 6 NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And it was like, get out of college, man.
Right,
Like,
exactly, and that's exactly the
like
same thing with Carson Beck. He's older than a lot of younger guys.
yeah, so bring it back to Chambliss. I will miss watching him. These last
Mhm.
few games have really turned me into a believer in him, but I think it's ridiculous for him to still be in college, and I'm excited to see what he can do at the NFL level, and it's time for him to test out the NFL. So I
Yeah,
zero issue with the NCAA there, zero.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm in the exact same boat as you. Why are we letting guys come unless obviously they get hurt, but, like, the COVID year, it's probably done now, but at this point, but, I mean, it was just kinda getting out of hand where we have 7-year guys. So, we had a 9-year guy in Miami last year, some tight end. I mean, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Why are you still playing? Just go work for an accounting firm, bro. Like, you're not going to the league
yeah,
at this point.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I completely agree.
But,
Um,
how do you think Trinidad would do in the NFL?
I'm sorry.
How do you think that Trinidad would do in the NFL?
I think that he will. That's tough. I think he's definitely got potential, but I think like he's kind of like Fields where you're gonna need to massage him and
Yeah.
get him to grow. I do not think he is NFL ready right now. I mean, keep in mind we didn't know his name until this
Mhm.
season. So sure, he's been
Right.
around for 5 years, but he has not been relevant until this season. So maybe he's learned a lot more sitting on the bench and playing at smaller schools than we think. But I think one season on the big stage is a hard sell to someone who wants to make him like a long-term starter for them. So I think he's got a little bit of growing to do. But I definitely think he has potential to do well. I just think we're 3-4 years away from really seeing that cultivate. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't transfer from Fair State, which is a D2 school. He came in, won the national title there,
Yeah,
at the D2 level. Then he transferred into Ole Miss this year. And I mean, he's doing good things. All props to him. There's no shade, but you can't expect to now be great at the very top level, which is the NFL.
Yeah.
That's just not how it works. And like you said, I think that's a good comparison with Justin Fields. Um, he's able to make plays on his feet. We saw what he can do, in
Yeah.
that Georgia game. But against NFL defenses with who are guys that are way faster than him,
Yep.
way bigger than him, it's just not gonna work.
It will not.
So, I hope he succeeds, but I just don't know if it's gonna happen.
I do think it can. I just think it's going to
Yeah, yeah,
take.
yeah, no, potential for sure, but he needs a good coach that can
Yep.
work him into that.
Agreed. And it's going to take a couple years. It's just going to.
Yeah, he just needs to be put on a good team. If he's on a bad team, he's gonna sit forever, and if he's on a bad team, he's never gonna be good.
Agreed. Agreed. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, that's Chambliss. I will say though, that final drive where they drove down the field
Yeah.
in 18 seconds and had a chance at a Hail Mary, you could see his passion. And
Yeah.
I was that was the drive where we've been praising Chambliss, so I don't want to say that that's the drive that made me a believer or anything, but that was the drive where I really saw some heart that is really important. If you want to lead an offense, you got to have qualities like that, and I think that might have been the first time where I truly saw those aspects of his personality come out. When again, it was looking like a Hail Mary was their only shot. So I was really impressed with him in this game. No shame at all, Ole Miss. You guys were screwed 15 times over with Lane Kiffin and having to hire Pete Golding last minute. And you guys, I mean, what a season for them. I want to give props to Ole Miss because Eric, they really have had a miracle season that was almost completely derailed for reasons out of their control, and they still fought like hell and came this close to the college football playoff final, the national championship. So I think it's been an incredible year for them, and I just want to give them their flowers before we move on to the next game because uh, I think any other team under that pressure would have crumbled, but they embraced it. And I understand their first game was Tulane, but that Georgia win, I mean, you saw them, and that was blood, sweat, and tears being poured onto that field. And I don't know, I was rooting for them, so it sucks to see them get out. But what a story, and I look forward to seeing how Ole Miss continues to develop and if they can sustain teams of this quality without Kiffin, because he's obviously a major reason for why they were able to get the players they did. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, but good for Ole Miss. Good job, guys. It sucks that I won't get to see you play more, but it is what it is. It's football. Um, yeah, I guess the only thing I want to add on Miami, Eric, is I think this defense. I agree with you. Honestly, I couldn't put it any better than you did. It reminded me of last year. You said that perfectly. I completely agree with you. The defense did look a little shaky in this game. Um, Miami normally has a lot of issues when they turn the ball over. I mean, they had 5 turnovers against Louisville. They had several more in their other loss. So Beck, when he threw the interception, I was like, "Uh-oh, Miami." But then he controlled the game after that, and they limited turnovers to just that one, and it
Mhm.
allowed them to win. So
Yeah, and
we
that's the thing. I mean, we've seen it with Ohio State all this year, but props to Miami, man. I mean, they've really controlled the games in these playoffs. They had 41 minutes of time of possession,
crazy.
and with an interception and 10 penalties. I
Yeah,
mean, they were not they weren't disciplined at all. They really shouldn't have really won the game, but they did, and it all comes down to time of possession. If you can just keep the ball away from them and play keep away, you're gonna win because they don't have any time.
yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. They can be penalized as much as they want. Obviously, an exception to if you play a really good team, it's not gonna work. You can't control the game like that. They're gonna make you pay, but still, I mean, really impressive. I'm very impressed they scored 31 points with 74 penalty yards, and with an interception. But they just controlled the game. It was really impressive, and that's how you win.
Yeah, and I'm glad you pointed that out because think about it. Ole Miss scored 27 points in
in 18
19
minutes.
in 18 minutes of game time. I mean,
Yeah,
that's I understand they got solid field position on the one pick, but still
still.
that's a lot of points.
I mean, they had
Um
400 yards.
yeah, so that's Miami's defense, that's shaky. Um
Yeah.
and obviously we'll talk about them at the end of this episode, but uh yeah, it's going to be an interesting final to see them
Yep.
if that defense plays well. Uh-oh, Indiana. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. But that's all I have on this game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, moving on to the other semifinal game. This shouldn't take long. Number 5 Oregon playing number 1 Indiana. Eric, did we witness another murder? Because I
Oh,
think we
we
did.
did. Yeah, and it's once again Oregon in the playoffs, man. They just can't stop getting killed in the playoffs no matter what uh year it is. They lose 22-56. I mean, they just got slaughtered. Um Fernando Mendoza, we've been talking about him, these past couple weeks. He doesn't make mistakes. He had 5 touchdowns on 177 yards. He only threw the ball 20 times because he doesn't need to throw the ball. I
Yeah,
mean, Kalen Black and Roman Hemby can just run, and Kurt Signetti's a mastermind. He can switch up the looks. He can do whatever he wants. All Fernando Mendoza has to do is throw the ball 20 times, and they can score 56 points. They didn't even have another backup quarterback in the game,
yeah,
so it's not like he got limited reps. He played the entire game. Really impressive with what not only he's doing, but also Kurt Signetti. I mean,
yeah,
he's playing or he's coaching just a great game through and through, all the way to the end. I mean, he doesn't crack a smile until he's holding the trophy.
yeah,
Um, so it's really impressive. I think Dan Lanning's a good coach. He's just not ready to take the next step. The last 4 coaches, Pete Golding, Mario Cristobal, and then Dan Lanning and Kurt Signetti, were all with Coach Saban at some point, Nick Saban.
yeah,
Um, but so he obviously, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's just not ready to take the next step as a head coach, and that's fine. Dante Moore didn't play great. He went 24 for 39, 285 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns and a pick. That's not that good.
but it's not
Uh,
horrible. It's not
no,
horrible.
no,
The
it's not
game wasn't
terrible.
entirely his fault. I mean,
No,
he
no, no, no.
didn't step up to the next level, right? He wasn't
Yeah,
awful.
and then it's not his fault. I don't think. I mean, Indiana, they're the best team in the country.
Yeah,
I understand you're getting to the semifinals, but you still have to play better. There's really no excuse. And that's not even Dante Moore. That's this entire team, and a lot of it falls on Dan Lanning. He just got out coached. I understand it's hard to out coach Kurt Signetti, but I mean, come on, man, you gotta do better than that. 22 points is not good enough uh, for really anybody, unless you're Texas Tech.
yeah,
But we've seen this before. They give up a lot. They've gave up a lot of points to James Madison in garbage time, yes, but they gave up a lot of points. They really didn't score too much on Texas Tech, but they didn't have to. The game that they knew they were going to have to score a lot of points, they didn't. This team gave up a lot of points these past 3 weeks, and they haven't really scored that much. The most
yeah.
they've scored has been 23. So it's and their defense can only play so good. So yeah, this whole team has to play better, and they're not ready. This was an embarrassment for Oregon.
Yeah, and think about it. Most of a good chunk of those points were in garbage time for themselves. Oregon was in
Right.
garbage. They were
Yeah,
able to get some
exactly.
points there. So, I mean, honestly, guys, this game was an even larger gap than 56-22. Um, Eric, I'll repeat myself from last week. Indiana has exactly one superstar in Fernando Mendoza. They don't have a single superstar on that roster besides him. And yet they play flawless football. Flawless. No notes. They barely get any penalties. They make no mistakes. Mendoza, I mean, 17 for 20 with 177. I mean, that in and of itself, that number isn't sexy at all. But talk about using those, throwing the yards when they count. He gets 5 touchdowns out of it. And no picks. I mean, that they might be, and I know this is a big statement, this might be the best single season coaching job I've ever seen. I mean,
Yes.
taking this roster and doing this, that is remarkable work on the part of Kurt Signetti. And like you said, he is such a competitor. The announcers in the fourth quarter were complaining that Mendoza was still in the game. When they, particularly when they got their last touchdown to make it 56-15. And the announcers were complaining that why is Mendoza still in the game? Take him out, guys. It's because Signetti is putting his foot on the pedal and he is not letting off. He is
He's making a
he,
statement.
exactly. He's making a statement. He's strangling them to death. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know why. And it's not like he was putting Mendoza into any excessive danger. They couldn't pressure him
No.
at all.
Yeah. And even if they did, Mendoza's smart enough to make the right play.
Of course. And again, not making mistakes, right? He
Yep.
won't run into a situation where he could get hurt.
Yeah.
So, this was just rinse and repeat of the Alabama game. This was just an absolute beatdown. Um, I'll tell you what, man, we'll obviously predict at the end, but I think this team's definitely going to win the national championship. I think they are, again, a flawlessly coached team, possibly the most well coached team I've ever seen, and I think Mendoza will once again play a clean game, and they'll be hoisting the trophy Monday night. It's gonna be interesting, but yeah, what a team, man! It has been a joy to watch this team continue to flourish, particularly in the second half of the season, Eric, where they have really come into their own. I mean, the last month and a half, I would say, this Indiana team is unfreaking stoppable. They are just firing on every cylinder you can possibly fire on, and taking down every single top five opponent in their path. It's impressive and remarkable and a joy to watch at the same time as a fan of the sport. I mean, it's really special what we're witnessing with this team. 16-0, man. They're going to be 16-0, the first team ever to be 16-0. That's You got to remember those moments, right? I mean, these are the kinds of teams that you will look back on and tell your children about. Like, so I mean, this is just I don't really have much to add because A, you did a great job summing up the game, and B, it really is just a rinse and repeat of the Alabama game. I mean, there's just tears, and Dan Lanning is not on Kurt Signetti's tier. Plain and
Yeah.
simple.
Nobody is. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's very possible. I mean, we were making fun of Kurt Signetti getting his contract extension when he did because he hadn't even been to a conference championship game yet. And look at us now. Talk about egg on our face. Now that deal looks like a bargain. I mean, he deserves
Yeah.
a pay on par with Smart and Day, and Kiffin, who obviously passed him up after his Signetti's deal was signed. Kiffin eventually got a bigger one, but he should be on par with the three of them. I mean, now it looks like Indiana got him at a bargain. I
Oh, yeah.
mean, it's just what he has done with this team is remarkable, and I can't wait to watch them for one last time on Monday night. It's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
That's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, moving on to the NFL. We'll be able to get through some of these relatively quickly, but for the most part, Eric, and disagree if you want, but I thought this was actually a really solid set of games. I had very low
Yeah.
expectations going in, because the league has been all over the place in terms of quality this season. But this was actually a really solid wild card round. I mean, look, not all the games were amazing, but they were watchable, and which is more than I can say for most NFL games this year. So, um, we'll start off with the Rams traveling to the Carolina Panthers. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, the Rams beat the Panthers on the road 34-31 in the wild card round. This was a really great game. Um, I really like the way the Rams are playing. I think we both predicted the Rams to win this game
We
because
did.
we didn't think that Bryce Young would be able to keep up.
Yeah.
And he did. He played well. He went
Mhm.
21-40, 264 yards, touchdown, but he did throw an interception. But still, I mean, he played well against a really tough Rams team and a really good Rams team. They have a high-powered offense. and the Panthers knew they were gonna have to score a lot. That's exactly what they did. Their game plan was perfect. They just lost the game. Um, the Rams played well. Matthew Stafford went 24 for 42, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That's a good game.
Yeah.
Um, Puka Nacua, I mean, he's been doing special stuff all year. He's the wide receiver 1 over Devontae Adams, which, when Devontae Adams is your wide receiver 2, you're in good hands.
Yep.
Um, Puka Nacua, he had 10 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown. He has just turned it on these past 2 years, straight out of college, and it's really impressive what he's doing. I like him a lot. Um, and it's like he just keeps producing. Like you keep thinking, last year, okay, he had a great year. Okay, maybe he'll slow it down a little bit his second year. No, he just keeps his foot on the gas, and it's really impressive. And then with the piece of Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, that little 1-2 punch that they have, also really impressive. So this is a really high powered offense, and they're fun to watch.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Good for Carolina. I thought they
Yeah,
would get blown out, and you're
yeah,
right. I mean, Bryce's one pick was in the 2-minute drill, so I'm not
right.
gonna, where he was obviously forcing throws. So I'm not gonna hold that too much against him. He had a really solid game. I will give credit where credit is due. 264 passing yards for him is impressive. Obviously, I think the fact that the game was played at home, of course, that helped. But playing in the playoffs is a much different animal, and I was curious to see how he would react to that. I mean, obviously, he played in the playoffs in college when he was at Alabama, but that's a different animal to the NFL playoffs. So I was really curious to see how he would react. And again, I was expecting him to lay an egg, and he played really, really, really solid. He genuinely impressed me. For it was one of the first times that he's genuinely impressed me. I mean, talk about a career all over the place. He got benched for Andy Dalton, rightfully so, but that proved to be that proved to me what he needed. I mean, how many times have young quarterbacks sat behind veterans and gotten the learning that they've needed to, and it clearly rubbed off on Young in the right way, and he's been able to start ever since, which is impressive considering how truly awful he was in his first year, as well as the first. I don't remember exactly when he got benched. I want to say it was after week 2 or 3. It was early on in his sophomore season. But yeah, he considering how awful he was, I'm genuinely impressed that he was able to, as you said, keep up with Stafford for the most part. They led this game late. So I want to give credit to Bryce Young because that was a very, very impressive game from him. But yeah, man, this Rams offense is too high powered. It was certainly too high powered for the Panthers to overcome. I think, as you said, Puka Nacua is the real deal, man. He's so good. He is able to, I mean, you said it again. What being wide receiver 1 over Devontae Adams is an incredible accomplishment when you think about all the accomplishments Devontae Adams all the peaks he's reached in his career. What a season for him. I still don't love Puka Nacua's off the field antics, but at this point, those have largely been tossed aside. I don't think about that when I look at him. I understand some people probably would, but for me, his play is so good that I'm largely going to be able to look past that. This isn't an AB situation where that's all I see. So
Right.
good for Puka. I mean, it's a great season for him, great couple years for him. And yeah, man, I think it comes down to the quarterback. We've
Mhm.
had this conversation a few times this year, but it really does come down to if your quarterback plays well, you're going to win the game. It really is that simple. I mean, I love talking about football with you, and I love talking about all the different X's and O's of the game. But the reality is that it comes down to quarterback play. I mean, let's just be honest. And
Yeah.
Stafford has played really, really well. He and McVay are an excellent team, continue to be an excellent team. And I think this team is is definitely going to the NFC Championship game, and they have a solid chance to make the Super Bowl. So this offense is going to be hard to stop, but it'll be interesting to see them continue in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, it will be, and it not only comes down to quarterback play, it also comes down to experience. I
Yeah.
mean, Matt Stafford just has more experience than Bryce Young. There's nothing wrong with that. But as far as the Panthers go, I think they honestly might have a bright future ahead of them. They have a good young team. Even when Chuba Hubbard was down a little bit in the year, Rico Dowdle was able to step it up, and that's what you need. You just need these guys to step it up. Tedero McMillan's young, he's good. Xavier Legette's okay, but I don't know. They have a bright future ahead of them, I think. If as long as Bryce Young stays healthy and keeps playing like he is right now.
Yeah, I think Dave Canales is a solid coach. I don't think he has had a coaching performance where you're truly blown away at the brilliance of his play calls.
Yeah.
But I do think that he doesn't he's not a hindrance to the team, let's put it that way. He's able to keep the team in the game, and he's largely able to he puts a lot of trust in his players. We can argue the effectiveness of that considering their 8-9 regular season, but I think Canales is a solid coach, and I agree, man. I think they have the potential to go 10-7 if they really put the pedal to the metal and continue to improve this team, because Young is starting to really show some progress. And it'll be interesting to see how far he can go, because for the first time, I'm starting to see some long term potential in him. So it's good
Yeah.
for the Panthers fans too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so long since their team has A, been relevant, and B, hosted a playoff game. So it was cool to see that stadium lively for the first time in a long time. Um, and I always love seeing fan bases get back into the swing of things after an extended, run of garbage play, because it shows that the fans are loyal, and I definitely sense that from the Carolina Panthers fan base. So that was cool to see as well. But yeah, I agree with you. Panthers are not going away. There's definitely room for improvement, but they're on the right path. So good for them.
Yep.
That's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, moving on to the next game, we had the Packers visiting the Chicago Bears. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, great game. Another one. The Packers lose to the Bears 27-31. Oh man, Caleb Williams, he played good. He threw the ball 48 times. He went 24 for 48, but he had 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. But they won. So he played well. Colston Loveland was their leading receiver with 137 yards. I don't love to see that, but he stepped up, and that's kind of what you need.
Yeah,
But I would like to see DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. They have a good receiving core. It's just
yeah,
they didn't step up this game, which is fine. DeAndre Swift, he had 54 yards and a touchdown. I like what he's doing. He's kind of earning his job back almost. Kyle guy was sniffing it a little bit midseason, but he's definitely earned that role as RB1. And then on the other side, Jordan Love, 24 46, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a great game from him. He played well. Romeo Dobbs was their leading receiver with 8 receptions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. A great game. And Matthew Golden, the rookie out of Texas, he's starting to kind of work up into shape. He had 4 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. That's a great game for him as well in his young career. Um, yeah, I honestly, I know I've been down on Caleb Williams a lot this year and in the past. I
yeah,
like him now. I think he's really changed my view on him. He's playing really well. He's just he obviously has a good team, but I mean, a lot of the credit will go to Caleb Williams. But let's give some credit to Ben Johnson, man. He is
yeah,
he's coaching out of his mind. Um, and you can tell he wanted to win this game. Huge rivalry between these guys, not only the fan base but the players. I mean, these guys hate each other.
yeah,
You saw the cheese grater hats that they were wearing after the game. Caleb Williams and some of the offensive guys. So I mean, they hate these guys. So this is a big win for them. Big wins for the fan base. Congrats to the Bears. Congrats to Caleb Williams. I like what he's doing. Yeah, I think Caleb Williams has changed my views on him. Believe it or not.
yeah. I quickly, before we talk about Caleb again, I just want to co-sign what you said about Ben Johnson, rookie head coach. A lot of people had
Yeah.
expectations of him coming out of the Dan Campbell system in Detroit. I think he's surpassed all expectations. I mean, he has done an excellent job with this roster, and they are going farther than I honestly thought. That I think anyone thought they would go at the beginning of the season. I think people were largely expecting them to get back to 500, and they just soared. So yeah, what a coaching job from Ben Johnson. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and I do believe that one day he will win a Super Bowl. Whether that's with Caleb or not that's a conversation for another time. I agree with you, man. Caleb played very, very well in this game. There were many times where the Packers, particularly in the first half, I mean, this was a blowout for a while. I mean, the Packers had them. I would say halfway through the third quarter, I really thought the game was over because I just thought that it was too big of a hole for the Bears to get out of. But yeah, man, they kept clawing and they kept clawing and they kept clawing, and they never gave up, and they came back and an incredible comeback, 18-point comeback. I believe that's the largest in Bears franchise history. And yeah, man, Caleb did that. I said last week that the reason I predicted the Packers for this game is because the Bears have been relying a lot on fourth quarter comebacks, and I really didn't think that was sustainable in a playoff situation. I still don't think that's sustainable in terms of you know continuing in this postseason. But as for this game, I mean, I think that this largely spoke about the Packers more than the Bears. But yeah, the Bears were able to make another fourth quarter comeback as they have done a lot this season, and I thought that was pretty impressive. Eric, I think it's time to talk about the Packers a little bit. Um, as of the recording of this episode, guys, the Packers are currently planning on keeping Matt LaFleur. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations, and they have not been shy about that. The Micah Parsons trade was an all-in move with Jordan Love and LaFleur. They expected a Super Bowl appearance at the very, very least, and they end the season going 9-7-1 and losing in the wild card round. On the road, guys, they were the 7 seed. Um, what a disappointing year for them. I think both of us were. I still remember our first episode of this iteration of our show, Eric, where we were just praising the Parsons trade up and down, and we were swearing that the Packers were going places, and it did not work out that way. I know they were hampered by a lot of injuries, but this Packers team has been such a disappointment. Jordan Love in this game really it played again in the second half. He was missing throws left and right, but overall his stat line was pretty good. He went 24 for 46, 323 passing yards, 4 TDs, and no picks. That is a very, very good game on the surface, but guys, in the second half he was useless. So it's one of those stat lines where if you didn't watch the game, you'd think he was had a fantastic game, whereas in reality, Eric, you only had a fantastic half. I think that this team has proven to be extremely lacking in depth. I think the lack of depth really killed them, and that ultimately falls on LaFleur, I think. Um, do you think that LaFleur deserves to be on the hot seat? Because when we were texting right after this game ended, I was gunning for his head. I admit that was a bit of an overreaction on my part, considering what LaFleur's done for this team. But I think the fact that they had the aspirations they did, and this is the result, is a really bad look. And that was kind of all I was thinking about when I was in the immediate aftermath of this game. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on LaFleur, because I think there's honestly an argument for both sides. Um, and I just happen to be on the fire him side. So
Yeah. There's definitely an argument. A question hangs over his future. What's gonna happen? What are they gonna do? Um, I think they're gonna keep him, and I think he's gonna stay. Should they? Um, I, that's tough, because man, that's a good question actually,
it's a
because
really hard question,
I
isn't it?
mean,
I don't know an answer, to
they
be honest.
were supposed to be, when we were saying Super Bowl I mean, they were Super Bowl contenders. They wasn't just us saying it; they were showing it on the field. They were Super Bowl contenders. Obviously, Michael Parsons got hurt midway through the year, but still, I mean, you have to show up and you have to get depth, like you said. There was a depth issue which killed them. But there's really no excuse for that when you've there's just no excuse
Yeah,
to fall this short and lose in the wild card round. I mean,
yeah,
that's not where I put them. That's not where you put them. That's not where anyone put them. Um, that being said, I do think you still have to keep LaFleur just because of where he's gotten this team. Um, Post like Aaron Rodgers, which was a long time ago, but still. So I think you keep him, but I mean, if it's another year of getting bounced in the wild card like it was this year, I think you really have to make that decision of whether you should fire him. And I think at that point, I think you can make that decision and say it was a good one.
yeah, yeah. I think that's definitely an argument that the Packers faithful is going to have. And that's a hard conversation to have. But I mean, look at the teams recently, like the Ravens and Steelers, having those conversations. Sometimes the conversations need to be had, and they're tough. But I think Lafleur has been definitely hit or miss, and he's been carried by a great roster up to this point, and coming up so short this season. Um, is just fascinating to me. I'll be curious to see if he stays, how much of a leash the Packers will give him.
Yeah,
I'm really, really curious to see how that goes. But yeah, what a disappointing year for them. I really expected a lot more. But good for the
honestly.
Bears. Good for the Bears. Good for the Bears. That's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yep, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, moving on to the next game. We had the Bills, the Buffalo Bills visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, the Bills win 27-24 in Jacksonville. I mean, obviously Josh Allen played well. He went 28 for 35, 273 yards, and a touchdown with also 33 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. That's their entire. That's all their points right there. James
Yep.
Cook didn't get in the end zone once. He only had 46 yards on 15 carries. He's really inconsistent. He's shown growth. James Cook. He's shown growth. This year he's become more consistent. But dude, I mean, this is one of the biggest games. This is the biggest game of the year. It's winner go home, and you're putting up 46 yards. I mean, come on. Um, that's not great. And then I mean, we've said this before. It's a one man show in Buffalo. It's just Josh Allen. That's all they got.
Yep.
Khalil Shakir's young. Keon Coleman's young. I understand that, but they have to play better. Khalil Shakir had 82 yards on 12 receptions and with no touchdowns. I mean, that's not really what you want to see when you have a guy that has 12 receptions.
Yep.
Um,
Not good
Not a
enough.
lot of run after catch for him as long as it was 18 yards. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know what needs to change. They just need to build around Josh Allen.
Yeah.
If they really want to go far, like really far and make it to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl soon. You know, because Mahomes, I mean, I understand it was a down year for the Chiefs this year, but they can't ever beat them in the playoffs. So if they run into them next year, they're probably done. Again, because they just don't have the offense. They have the defense, just not the offense outside of Josh Allen. As far as the Jaguars go, Trevor Lawrence played really not that great, honestly. He went 18 for 30, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's not good. Um, but I mean, it was a good game. It was just a lot of mistakes for both of these teams, and just I don't know. It's just both of these quarterbacks, which is really both these teams' entire offense. I
Yeah.
understand the Jaguars have Brian Thomas Jr., but he's really fallen off this year. Hard. He's been really bad this year. And you have Travis Etienne, who's also slowly declining and getting a little bit older. So it's kind of hit the panic button for whatever team lost in this one, and it happens to be the Jags.
Yeah, man. I need to start off saying this. Oh my God, are the Bills so lucky? Liam.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Liam Cohen. Listen, I am so Dan Campbell ruined the sport. I think we can say this at this point. I am so sick of these coaches not taking the goddamn points.
completely
When
agree.
you are in field goal range, take the points. Take the points. They are right there. Take them. At the end of the first half, Jacksonville is in field goal range and they have a golden opportunity to kick a field goal and take some points, and they choose to go for it on fourth down and they screw it up. And as a result, when Buffalo scores a touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter, they end up winning the game. and they are up by 3, and Jacksonville has to have a fourth down, a last minute drive that ends up going nowhere, and they barely have any time at all to make anything happen. If that happens, then the game goes to overtime, and the Bills probably lose. So I'm down on Liam Cohen solely because of that. I'm sick and tired of everyone adopting Dan Campbell's mentality because it's proved. What have the Lions done, Eric? They've been to one conference championship game and they lost to the Niners. So it's not like he has this, list of success doing this. I just we need to learn how to take the points, especially when Jacksonville and Cam Little is so good. He just set the record with a 67-yard field goal.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
man.
an elite kicker. Like, take points, people.
Yep.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that frustrates me. And even with like this over aggressive coaching, just trying to prove a point,
Yeah,
for no reason. I mean, the Jags have the best kicker in the sport right now, like you said, and the fact that they're not taking those points and it came back to bite them, and it's just so stupid. It's such a stupidly aggressive decision.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes me mad too. It's just ridiculous,
It
and
came
it's
off
Dan
as
Campbell's fault.
Yeah, it is. It came off as petty, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
it came off like Liam Cohen saying, "Yeah, we got you," and not even thinking through that maybe the Bills would stop them. I mean,
right.
it didn't even cross his mind. And
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I blame Dan Campbell for this. It's all his fault. All his fault. Ridiculous. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. Let's talk about the actual game. I agree with you. Lawrence looked okay. I think that he definitely got rattled at several points, and he was missing a lot of wide open throws. However, I don't think he was so rattled that he couldn't make the plays when he absolutely needed to. Again, this game should have gone to overtime. So I wasn't completely down on him in this game, but I agree. He did have some moments where it's like, really, Trevor? But then again, that's been his whole career so far, right? There are games where Trevor Lawrence looks like, Joe Montana, and then the next game he looks like Mitch Trubisky. You don't know which one you're getting. So it's all over the place with him. And the reality is that, as you said, he does not have a good enough rushing, good enough running back room to back him up. ETN has been average at best,
Yeah.
and that's not good enough to make up for Lawrence's occasional deficiencies. Say what you will about a quarterback like Sam Darnold, who also throws a decent number of picks, but he has a defense that is absolutely phenomenal and will support that.
Right.
Lawrence doesn't have a support system like that. So he has to do, as you said, all himself. Like Allen, he is that team, and he's far more prone to mistakes than Allen is. And that, again, ended up being the difference maker. I do think that Jacksonville, however, does have a bright future. I think Liam Cohen, that horrible decision aside, is a pretty good coach. He got this team to 13-4, and considering their roster, that's a hell of an accomplishment. I understand that they weren't in a super difficult division. It was difficult early on, and then the Colts imploded on themselves. But I think this team is really, really solid, and I think that if they are 2 or 3 pieces away from being a legitimate contender in the AFC, I truly believe that. I think they have a solid enough core that they can level
Yeah,
up. Um,
agreed.
but yeah, I just think that the Bills, oh, they're so lucky, man. As you said, Allen is this team, and if he has even an average game, they're gonna lose. We'll talk about
Yeah.
them at the end of this episode when we do our predictions, but it is not. I'm right now not very high on the Bills, and I think that I'm justified in having that opinion because I do not think they win this game if it goes to overtime. So yeah, I mean, I think James Cook having the inconsistent year that he's had, and then their receiving core being good on paper, but not really delivering on the field is definitely coming back to bite them. And there's only so much that Josh Allen can do. It's hard to expect him to do, be Superman every single week. That's just not realistic. So, uh, Yeah, I'm down on the Bills right now. They really just got bailed out by over-aggression on the part of Liam Cohen, and I see right through them. I am not gonna let them. I'm not gonna pretend like the Bills are some great team. I have FS1 on in my office at lunch every day, and literally I just heard Colin Cowherd glazing Josh Allen, and it's like, bro, did you watch the game? Like, if you watched that game,
Clearly not. Yeah, clearly you didn't. I
you
mean,
guys are you guys are just hyping this man up just because he's great. And look, he's an excellent quarterback. No, I'm not saying he isn't. Well, we both agree that he's probably the second best in the sport behind Mahomes.
yeah.
But I just think he can't do everything, and it's unrealistic to expect that he can. And once again, I think Sean McDermott's going to come back to haunt this team like the ghost of Christmas future. And that's probably going to be next week. But that's a discussion for the end of the episode. Um, yeah, that was just my big takeaway, man. Bills got
Yeah.
lucky.
No, completely agree.
Okay, guys. Well, that's all I have on that episode. What about
Yeah,
you?
that's all I got.
That game rather, not that episode. We're still going on
Yeah.
this episode. This has been a great episode. High quality episode. Okay, guys, moving on to the next game. This was the funniest. This is the hardest I've laughed, Eric, all week. I was laughing like a little baby when this ended. Just because I think anyone with a brain cell saw this coming, and the fact that people didn't, is incredible to me. When San Francisco visited the Philadelphia Eagles, Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, San Francisco beats the Eagles 23-19. Uh I mean, which actually led to the firing of offensive coordinator for the Eagles, Kevin Patullo.
Yeah.
Which needed to happen. He needed to go. The Eagles are they're really something else. Jalen Hurts might be okay. This might be a bold statement. Tell me if it is. Is Jalen Hurts one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league right now?
I think you can definitely make a strong case. I definitely think that Patullo takes a large part of the blame for how the offenses performed this year. But I mean, I take the same stance on Hurts that I did with Kenny Pickett, in that yes, Matt Canada was a large part of the problem, but if you're actually good and actually talented, you can make up for that. And Pickett
Right.
couldn't make up for Canada's deficiencies, and the fact that Hurts can't make up for Patullo's deficiencies, or rather couldn't make up for Patullo's deficiencies, I think says a lot about him. So I don't think you're totally off base there, man. I think you can really make an argument that he's the most overrated QB in the league right now.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, it's not, I don't think that's too crazy to say just because we've seen guys with bad offensive coordinators. I mean, just look at maybe last year, 2 years ago, Josh Allen. He had Ken Dorsey. I mean, he's not
Yeah,
the best offensive coordinator in the league. And look, and he was, at least winning games and getting to the playoffs and getting deep in the playoffs.
yeah. And
This
when
is
they
a
were
really
losing to
disappointing.
Mahomes, when they were losing to, I'm sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you. When they were losing to
no, you're
Mahomes,
good.
he was playing incredibly well. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah, that's not even their
it's not like
fault.
they
I
fell
mean,
apart. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's not like the play calling or Josh Allen's lack of ability.
yeah,
A lot of this, or some of it, not a lot of it, but some of it falls on Jalen Hurts' just raw talent. Um, and I think he's overrated. I mean, and just with the team, this whole team is honestly overrated. I mean, you had Saquon coming off a record year. He played well this game though. He had 26 carries, 106 yards, no touchdowns. But that's okay. And then AJ Brown, who's supposed to be their wide receiver one, gets in a little shoving match fight with Nick Sirianni on the sidelines, and he puts up 25 yards. We've seen him do this all year. He's been really bad this year. Honestly, he's let his emotions get the best of him a lot this year.
yeah,
Whether it's online or on the field, he's just can't shut his mouth and just play the game. But he's not backing up anything he's saying. So it's a bad situation in Philadelphia, but let's talk about the 49ers here. Brock Purdy played really well. 18 for 31, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But he commanded the game. He bounced back from the interceptions. The defense held strong, and that's all that you really have to do. If he can just play better than Jalen Hurts, he's going to win.
yeah.
Because you have Christian McCaffrey run the football. So Christian McCaffrey had 15 carries, 48 yards. That's a good game. I mean, we've seen him. We know what Christian McCaffrey can do when he's healthy. It's really special and it's really fun to watch. And I mean, it's just unreal because we talk about time of possession in college all the time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some time of possession in the NFL. I mean, the Eagles had 35 minutes of possession and they only
Yeah.
scored 19 points. They only had 300 yards. I mean, that's not good. And I understand it's play calling. A lot of it is, but it also just comes down to raw talent. And and the Eagles have the talent on the team. It's just that Nick Sirianni, he's lost the locker room, and Nick Sirianni's ego gets in the way a lot of this too.
He's an idiot. I am sick and tired of pretending to, that Nick Sirianni is this excellent coach. He's
He's
not.
not.
He's not. I'm sick and tired of acting like he is. He's an idiot, guys. He's the one who promoted Patullo. He's a hack. The fact that this team, let's put it this way, Eric. Nick Sirianni did not win a Super Bowl. The Eagles won a Super Bowl in spite of Nick Sirianni. So that's how I view that. Okay. He did not win a championship. Look, I do believe that he's definitely in the Tomlin vein, right? A raw coach that, the team revolves around. But as you just said, he's lost the locker room, and for a raw coach to lose the locker room is like the kiss of death. Okay, like that's like the worst case scenario. Um, Vic Fangio is a brilliant defensive coordinator, but he cannot do all the work for you. And every time this Eagles team would go out onto the field to play offense in the last 2 months of the season, Eric, I tensed up inside because I knew what I was about to watch would be ugly. I mean, they became so predictable. You could see all of their, plays telegraphed from a mile away, and I'm a fan watching on the couch. Well, not a fan of the Eagles, of course, but and a fan of the NFL, right? And I'm in awe that this team, frankly, made the playoffs and B hosted a playoff game, and then C was even it was even a one score game. I'm honestly shocked they got
Yeah,
as far as they did. I agree
which
with
is
you. I've Oh, please go, please go.
which could be surprising to some people just because of the names that they have on the team, and the talent they have. I mean, they have the talent to go really far and
They
make
do.
another run at the Super Bowl. They're just not good enough, and it's a coaching issue, but it's also a talent issue with Jalen Hurts. He's just not that good.
It really is a waste of talent. I agree, man. This roster is very strong. Howie Roseman's an excellent GM, has been for years. They have the talent. It's just been squandered by Sirianni and Patullo. I mean,
Yep.
I'd feel bad if I were an Eagles fan, but I'm not. So again, like I said, I
Oh
laughed.
yeah,
I laughed
yeah.
when they lost. But I mean,
No, sorry to
again,
interrupt though. Continue.
no, please, no, you're fine. Please, please. It's just ridiculous that this team with this uh roster was squandered like this. I mean, they should have been so much better than 11-6. They should have been 13-4, maybe even 14-2. Um, but rather 15-2. I'm sorry. I can do math. Um, I just they should be better, and yeah. No crying about it now. They won't fire Sirianni because he's a year removed from the Super Bowl, but he should be gone, man. He's terrible. He's a hack and he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm sick and tired of pretending like he knows what he's doing. He doesn't.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. As for the Niners, I mean, there really isn't much to say. They played a sloppy game, but as per usual, I mean, despite all their injuries and the sloppiness, Purdy shows up in the big moments. Shanahan is an excellent coach and is a very good play caller. And he's a much better coach than Sirianni in that one. I mean,
Yep.
there's really not much to say. The fact that with all those injuries and their sloppiness, they still won the game says more about the Eagles than the Niners. I think George Kittle's injury is very bad for them, obviously. Um, but yeah, the fact that they have gotten this far with all of the hurdles that have been thrown at them this year is really impressive, all things considered. I've been praising the Niners quite a bit the last few weeks, and I stand by that praise. Again, I don't think they're going to go super far in the playoffs, but they should have been dead. Their season should have been over weeks ago, and they're going into the divisional round, and that's impressive to me. So but yeah, this game said way more about Philadelphia than San Fran, and yeah, get Sirianni out. It's ridiculous that you guys are defending him.
honestly, man.
That's all I have in that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, moving on to the next game. We're almost done, I promise. There was just a lot of games this week. We had the we will get through this one quickly. This is the layup. The LA Chargers visiting the New England Patriots. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, a bad game.
Yeah,
The Chargers lost 3-16. They flew all the way across the country to kick 3 points
wow.
in this one. And did we really expect anything more? We know Justin Herbert's a great talent. He went 19 for 31, 159 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, and he led the team in rushing, which is surprising to say the
Yeah,
least.
yeah,
Yeah, man, which that's really eye-opening, when Justin Herbert has 57 rushing yards, and we've talked about the injuries to the O-line,
yeah,
a lot. And it's been putting a lot of pressure on Justin Herbert, and it's tough, because we know Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. It's just that the team around him, the receivers have a lot of drop issues. He's always under pressure. He just can't really branch out and show his true potential, which
yeah,
might be crazy to say because he is playing at a high level with the team around him, and it's really impressive. He was able to scramble away from contact clearly, which is something that we really haven't seen too much, and that he was able to do. He was hurt a little bit this year with his hand, but still, I mean, it's really impressive. But yeah, they only scored 3 points, so it doesn't really matter. Drake May's legit. He went 17 for 29, 268 yards, a touchdown, threw a pick, but that's okay. He also led the Patriots in rushing, um, which that's arguably more eye-opening because of the running back room that the Patriots have with Ramondre Stevenson
yeah,
and now Travion Henderson, who's really grown into that role as slowly becoming the RB1 and a great running back in the league. How does Drake May, I mean, who's really not the most mobile player, how is he leading this team in rushing? But that just shows his ability to improvise and his pocket presence. It's really impressive, and he's really good, and he's still young. I'm really excited to see what he can do. This is just a weird game all around. I mean, you got Ramondre Stevenson leading the team in receiving with 3 targets, 75 yards. He had that 48-yard reception, but no touchdown. Stephon Diggs was non-existent to say the least. 2
yeah.
receptions, 16 yards. I mean, he's their wide receiver 1. Um, yeah, this was honestly a bad game. For all the really good games we had, this was a dud.
Yeah.
So sloppy game, a lot of turnovers, and just not the best offense.
Yeah, the Chargers O line is dog shit, and Herbert got killed, so they lost. That's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
guys, it's that simple. He got slaughtered. The
Yeah,
man was a walking corpse. He was under pressure so
yeah.
much. I mean, he didn't have a chance. This team, I understand Joe Alt got hurt. I understand that a couple other O linemen got hurt. I mean, all their best O linemen got hurt.
I mean, it happens every year with them.
Of course, it happens every year. But I mean, that O line play is even worse. It was possibly the worst it's been all year, and that's saying a lot because that poor man has been killed repeatedly all season, and this might have been the worst performance by the O line. The fact that they got any points, considering the O line play, is remarkable. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's just,
yeah,
it's
the O-line
just
play is so bad. You're telling me they can't find 5 fat dudes in SoCal that can block for him?
Yeah,
I mean,
I,
come on.
I can't explain it, man. It makes no sense to me. I agree with you, man. I really think Herbert has talent. I really, really do. I think he has a great attitude. I mean, even in the post game, he took
Yeah,
the questions like a champ. I was really impressed with how he handled himself during that press conference. Side note, I should have said this in the Eagles game because I just thought of it now. AJ Brown with all those drops, bro. You don't even have the
dude,
balls
yeah.
to stand up to the press when you've been waxing poetic all season about having issues with Hurts and Sirianni. And when you are on the biggest stage and you lay an egg like that, you don't even have the guts to talk to the reporters. Really? 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 Okay, sorry. Forgot that. Had to add that. Back to her. Um, Herbert is the antithesis of AJ Brown because he actually showed, get this, Eric, professionalism.
Yeah.
and he handled it really, really well. He's being nice. He knows that the O line's bad, but he can't say that. So, I mean, I really do like him as a talent, both on and off the field. I think he has a future, but my God, is this team letting him down? I mean, they can't support him whatsoever. Their running back room, as you said, is non-existent. I mean, the leading rusher, Vidal, had 31 yards.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I think Lad McConkey, I didn't think that he would be able to transition to the NFL out of Georgia, largely because of his size, but he's actually turned out to be a really solid receiver for LA. When he's able to get the ball in his hands, which is, up in the air, considering most of the time Herbert can't get it out of his hands because he keeps getting pressured. Um, but yeah, Keenan Allen has regressed. Quentin Johnson has regressed. It's been,
Well, it's hard for Quentin Johnson to really get any worse than he has been.
I know, but I mean, it's just, you're right, but like this team is letting Justin Herbert down, and it's sad to see because I really do believe in Herbert. But yeah, Harbaugh has a lot of work to do this offseason to support that man because I think he has a quarterback. He just needs to support the quarterback. So we'll see what Harbaugh
Yeah.
does in the offseason. As for the Patriots, look, I think I would have liked to see a little more from their offense. To be totally honest with you, this was, as you said, a muted performance from them, which I honestly wasn't expecting. I thought Drake May was only okay. He was fine. He made a lot of plays that he needed to. He kept his poise. He was able to have a couple rushes, especially the one that was like 30 yards or whatever. He that was a really good scramble. But yeah, I was expecting a little more from the running backs. I was expecting a little more from some of the veteran receivers like Hunter Henry. I didn't really see the explosive offense that that has been par for the course for New England this year. And I think, Eric, this is the soft schedule for New England coming back to haunt them. I think this is a situation where, the Chargers, all the issues being considered, are a better team than most of the teams that the Patriots played this year. And, I think a lot of people may have gotten wooed by the record a little bit. Um, and maybe this team just isn't quite as good on offense as we previously assumed. I still would pick Drake May to win MVP solely because that team was dead before he got there, and then he took the time to develop, and now he's turned into a really solid quarterback. But I think New England showed a lot of weakness here. Again, a little more than I was expecting. I expected a little bit of a come down considering how easy their schedule was, but I wasn't expecting 16 points at home against the Chargers. So we'll see what happens against the Texans, which is an elite defense. But yeah, man, I think this team doesn't look quite as good as we previously thought. Not bad, but not quite as good as we previously thought. And yeah, I don't know. I was just expecting a little more from New England. And I didn't get that. But yeah, the Chargers O line was so bad that ended up not mattering, right?
Right.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Free Justin Herbert, man.
Seriously, I'm not. That's not a joke. I like to joke quite a bit on this show. We need to get Herbert free from that hell.
I mean,
Or
he's gonna have a really bad injury if it keeps up. Like that's serious. I mean,
I
they
agree.
gotta find protection for him.
He's. I'm telling you, he's so close to a broken ankle. So
Yeah.
close.
Yeah,
So close.
for real, man.
Yeah.
Or a
It's
bad, throwing arm injury if he gets hit. I mean, it's just bound to happen, and it's gonna happen soon if they don't get him protection he needs.
yeah. Agreed. That's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys. Uh, I had people I knew were at this game and they left at 17-6. I don't blame them. My God. Eric, what was going on when the Houston Texans visited
Yeah, we
the
had another
the
murder.
black and gold brigade?
Yeah, man, we had bad game here in Pittsburgh. It was 30-6. Houston wins it on the road. Huge win for them. Tough place to play.
Yeah,
It was cold. I mean, that's really impressive because Houston, I mean, they play in an indoor stadium, so they're not used to the elements unless they travel on the road.
yeah,
Um, so this was a really impressive win for them. Defense played outstanding, man. I mean, in CJ Stroud, he just did enough, and that's all he has to do when this defense can play like they do. I mean, the last pass Aaron Rodgers might throw as a Steeler or just in general in his career might be a pick six.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, CJ Stroud, he went 21 for 32, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Yeah, I mean, that's a solid game. And
yeah,
then Jaquavius Marks, he had 19 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown. They just dominated, man. I mean, that's really all it was. They had, 32 minutes of possession time, which isn't really that much. Because they didn't really have the ball that much. They were just scoring so quick. That's not even
yeah,
their fault. Christian Kirk had the game of his life. So good. 8 receptions, 144 yards, and a touchdown. Such a solid game for him. I mean, and the defense, like I said, just played outstanding. They had that big man TD with
yep,
with the fumble return or whatever it was.
yep,
So
yep,
it was a great game for them. And as far as the Steelers goes, Aaron Rodgers, possible last game of his career. We're waiting on a decision of what he'll do, but he went 17 for 33, 146 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception, which was bad.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, this whole team honestly just played really bad. DK Metcalf's first game back, he had 2 receptions for 42 yards. That's a good game. But I mean, if they just couldn't get the ball, he just couldn't get the ball to him. Had 5 targets, a really bad drop. In the first half, hit him right in the hands, and he was wide open, which probably would have been not a turning point in the game, but shifted the momentum. Um, yeah, I mean, this was a really bad game for the Steelers. I don't really have too much to say about that. Mike Tomlin has decided to step down from head coach.
yeah.
So the Steelers now have a rare head coaching vacancy. Um, so yeah, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, we wanted to hold off on that part of the news until we talked about this game, because it was just so seismic. I am honestly shocked that Tomlin is no longer here, man. As I predicted, as of the recording of this episode, this happened this morning. When Tom, or rather this afternoon, I think it was like 2:30 when it broke. Um, I honestly believed that Tomlin would stay through the end of his contract, which ended after the end of next season. I expected the Steelers to decline the option, have Tomlin play next year, and then have him, right off into the sunset, likely for a TV deal, right? But I'm genuinely shocked and impressed that the Rooney family went to him and said, "You're likely, obviously, it hasn't been, we haven't heard this yet, but said you're out. You're either getting fired or you're stepping down." I have a lot of respect for them doing that. Just like I have a ton of respect for the Ravens getting rid of Harbaugh. It's the same, situation, man. I genuinely thought that there would be issues for the leadership and the ownership of both of these teams to let go of their head coaches, and both of them knew that both coaches had, run their course, and that it was time. And yeah, man, it's the right move. It's 1,000% the right move for the Steelers. Um, that team looked lethargic last night. It was embarrassing. Um, all their receivers are ancient. Adam Thielen looks like he's running through sand. Constantly. I mean, he's so freaking slow. It's hard to watch. Um, MVS is useless at this point in his career. Metcalf is all talk and no, delivering.
Yeah.
Um, Calvin Austin's non-existent when it matters the most. Jalen Warren sometimes shows up, but for the most part doesn't appear. Kenneth Gainwell was non-existent last night. I can go down the list, man. I can
Yeah, I
go
mean,
down
dude,
the line.
everybody just underperformed. I mean,
Yeah,
it was bad. It was really bad. I mean, even TJ Watt didn't really play that good. He had that fumble recovery, but that's about it.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. It's been a step down for TJ Watt this year. I know he obviously had the
big
lung
step
issue, but
down.
as we said, even before the lung issue, this regression was happening with
Yeah.
him. Yeah, man. I feel this. The Texans offense is definitely really, really flawed, despite having a number of names. I mean, Nick Chubb is obviously injury prone, but when he's good, he's so good. As you said, Christian Kirk,
Past
Nico
his prime
Collins.
now.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, Nico Collins has his moments. I mean, this offense on paper is not that bad, but man, are they inconsistent. But
Yeah.
that being said, when you have a fumble recovery for that gets run in for a touchdown and a pick six, I mean, you only need a moderate offensive performance.
Right.
That their defense is the second best in the NFL behind the Seahawks. It is such a good defense. It shuts everyone down. And yeah, man, as I expected, Rodgers had to quickly chuck short yardage throws constantly. I think his average pass was 3 yards. 3 yards, guys, was the average pass. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And as expected, the Houston defense just shut this team down, and they were unable to recover from the 2 turnovers. And yeah, here's my issue with this entire situation, Eric, and we discussed this a little last night. I don't know how anyone can be shocked by this result, and the fact that anyone is, with all due respect, you have not been paying attention. Like, this Houston team started off 0-3. They were dead as a doornail. They were non-existent. They were not a factor. And that team stormed back to go 12-5. You realize how hard it is to go 12-5 when you start 0-3? This team is their defense is incredible. When Stroud is on, he's really on. And yeah, I feel like the play over the last 2 months, we saw this result coming, but there were people who were remarkably so predicting the Steelers, and that just makes absolutely no sense to me. And it shows that you didn't really watch the games or pay attention to them, because again, this result was predictable. Um, yeah, man. So Tomlin needed to go. We'll see who they get. We'll obviously talk about it on this show. It's going to be a big hire. They've only had 3 coaches since 1969. I always forget how long Chuck Noll was there. But yeah, man, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, and now number 4. And we'll see who they get. I don't really know if there's a name specifically that I'm desiring right now. Harbaugh will never go to the Steelers, guys. It's never going to happen. Get it out of your minds. He's going to want to go to a team that has a quarterback, which is very likely going to be the Giants, because I think, Eric, you and I can both agree that while Dart didn't look amazing, he looked good enough to work with moving forward.
Yeah, there's potential.
So I think because of that potential, Harbaugh will likely go to the Giants. Watch him go to the Browns and make me look like a dunce. But I just don't see. And Harbaugh's the best coach on the market. I do not see Harbaugh going to the Steelers.
Yeah.
I just
Which
don't.
I don't know if you saw what the owner said. He said the question was, if the Ravens did win the game last week, would Harbaugh be staying? And he said he would be staying for one more week. So they were ready to boot him no
Yeah,
matter what, which is I thought
yeah.
was really funny.
I did not see that quote, but he's right to do that.
Yeah.
Again, Harbaugh, like Tomlin, was past his expiration date.
Yeah, great coach. I mean, he can be good somewhere else,
Yes,
just like Tomlin. I mean,
agreed.
that's why I think about the Tomlin situation. His time was just up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Um, he can go be great somewhere else, and at this stage in his career, probably good, not great, but he can get someone somewhere. Um, especially for a team who needs it, he can rebuild a great defense. We've seen it. Year in, year out, and that's what you need. I mean, defense wins championships. And look at the Texans right now. I mean, they have a mediocre offense, but their defense is showing up and they're playing well. So
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Completely agree.
yeah,
I'm a real believer in this Texans defense. It'll be really fun to see them next week, because I think they can give Drake May a lot of problems. So,
yeah,
um, they'll be an interesting watch next week. And yeah, as for the Steelers, we'll put a pin in them until they hire a coach. But
yep,
that was a move 5 years too late, but it was finally made and needed to happen. I understand giving Tomlin his dignity. I totally respect that. But yeah, it was time, and we'll see who they got.
yep.
Okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
That is all I got.
Okay, guys, so that is it for the games this week. Looking forward to next week's games, Eric. We have quite a few games to predict. We have, the four NFL games as well as the national championship over in college. So we'll start with the NFL because those games will air first. First up, guys, we got the Bills. They will be visiting the Denver Broncos. Right now, the spread is Denver by 1.5 points. Eric, I think this is a pretty compelling game, largely because I think this is a team where both teams have this is a game rather where both teams have offenses that have a lot of luck. um, you know, I mean, how many last second victories have the Broncos had this year? I mean, four or
Right.
five. I mean, this team has been very, very lucky. They definitely have the talent to be in the playoffs. 14-3 is 14-3 for a reason. Bo Nix, slightly inconsistent, but 70% of the time delivers. So at home, I do see him having a really solid game. I think Allen, as per usual, will show up for the most part in the playoffs. This is a tough game to call because I do think that the Broncos have the talent despite having a lot of luck. Um, I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'm going to go with the Broncos largely because I think they have pieces outside of quarterback that have been delivering. So despite having a lot of luck, I do think that the overall roster is much better than the Bills, which, as we've discussed, is just Josh Allen. I mean, that Bills defense is a mess, and I do think the Denver offense will give them trouble. So I do think it will be close because I think it'll be high scoring. Because again, I do see Allen having a good game, but I do think that the Broncos will sneak out a win here. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I do. I also think the Broncos will win. It's just the talent on the roster is too good. The running backs are coming together, playing well. I mean, it's just too tough. It's a tough game to call. Because I mean, if Josh Allen's on his A game, he's proven before that he can win. I mean, that's all he has to do. It's
Yeah,
nobody else on that team even has to play good because Josh Allen makes everyone around him better.
yeah,
Um, Bo Nix is young. So J Josh Allen's experience will come into play a little bit more. But I mean, as long as Josh Allen isn't too reckless, the Bills can definitely win the game. But I
yeah,
completely agree. I think the Broncos just have they have first of all a good defense. They have too good of a defense, but
sure.
they also have really good pieces on offense too that are coming together. So if they play a clean game, no turnovers, because if you give Josh Allen the ball, he's going to win. Um, but yeah, no turnovers. The Broncos, I think, do win this game.
Yeah, good, great, excellent point on experience. I didn't even think about that. You're 100% right. Allen has a lot more experience in these games than Bo Nix does, obviously, and that could absolutely play a factor. But I agree with you. I think the roster is just too difficult for one man representing a team to overcome. So I agree with you. I think the Broncos squeak by a win, but I do think it'll be close. I think it'll be a one-score game. Okay, Eric, next game, 49ers Seahawks. Seattle has is favored by 7.5. Look, guys, I'll be one of the first to say Sam Darnold has been super hit or miss. There are games where he throws 3 picks and you wonder how he's a starter on a 14-3 team. But I gotta tell you, at home, at night, that crowd's gonna be into it. Their defense is the best in the league. I do think they beat the 49ers. I don't know if they cover the spread, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they win by 2 touchdowns. Because again, the Niners without Kittle are going to be struggling to move the ball forward. I do think the Seahawks win this game relatively easily. Again, I don't know if it'll be a blowout, but they'll win handily. I suspect by 10 points, something in that range. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. I agree. 10 points. I mean, as long as the Broncos don't turn the ball over, it could be closer. It could be like 3. I think the spread isn't honestly a bad one at 1. So I mean, it could be a really close game. It's not going to be a blowout by any means. It's going to be both these teams are going to have a gritty win. And it's going to come down to just who makes less mistakes.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Brock Purdy is too good to just completely dismiss. You know, I think there's definitely going to be plays there where he delivers, and it's going to be really hard for the Seahawks to have some answers to him at points. So this will be a very good game. I'm looking forward to this game. This is
Yeah.
probably my most anticipated game of the four divisional round matchups this week. This upcoming week rather. I think both teams are pretty stacked, all things considered, and it'll be fun to see that Seahawks defense deliver again. I know the Seahawks did hold the Niners to 3 points in the regular season finale. We should remember that, but I don't think that'll happen again. I think the Niners will have some answers this time around, and they'll get some more points and make it more competitive. But yeah, I do think the Seahawks win this game. I agree with you, Eric.
Yep.
Okay, guys, moving on to the Sunday games. We're going to start off with a really interesting matchup. The Texans versus the Patriots. The spread, guys, New England by 3. And may I remind you, they give 3 points when in terms of betting, when they create spreads, they give 3 points to the home team. So Vegas is basically saying that on a neutral field, there would not be a favorite in this game. Look, the Patriots looked vulnerable against the Chargers. That offense may not be quite as good as we thought. The Texans defense is very, very good and coming off an incredible performance in Pittsburgh in conditions that they were not acclimated to. As Eric said, they are not used to playing in the cold. They'll obviously have to play in the cold again, traveling to Foxborough. I am going to go with the Texans here. I'm going to go with the Texans. I think the fact that it's only a 3-point spread shows that the Vegas is second guessing the Patriots after last week's win. And I think the Texans defense is really going to give Drake May some issues. If CJ Stroud doesn't turn over the ball, I think the Texans can win by a decent amount. So I'm gonna go with the Texans here. I'm gonna go against the grain. But I think the issues with the Patriots came up quite a bit in the Chargers game, and unfortunately, I think that's kind of clouding my mindset when looking at this matchup. But I'm a believer in the Texans, man. That defense is very, very good, very good.
Yeah, they are really good. They showed it. I mean, they showed it.
Yeah,
Shutting down a veteran quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. I know it's not an offensive powerhouse, and he's not playing like Drake May is, but still, I mean, that's eye opening.
yeah,
And what CJ Stroud was able to do is perfectly fine. If he can play honestly like that with the defense playing as well as they did, maybe minus the touchdowns, but if they can force some turnovers, I mean, the game's over. You know what I mean? I mean, it's as simple as that. If they can pressure Drake May, just get him uncomfortable. I
yeah,
mean, we saw what the Chargers were able to do. Just got him uncomfortable, got him moving around the pocket, kind of making him almost force throws on long third downs that he normally wouldn't make on first or second down. You just have to make him uncomfortable, start bringing pressure early, heavy blitz packages, and then maybe disguise it later in the game. That's what you got to do. Throw off the looks. If CJ Stroud can just play mediocre, they win this game because the
yeah,
defense is just that good.
yeah,
You know, Drake Mays looked great this year. He's looked almost robotic at times, but he's human. I mean, we saw it in the Chargers game. He's human.
yeah, yeah,
Um, there's some pieces that don't really flow together sometimes in his game. And yeah, so look, if they score 16 points like they did against the Chargers, they're not going to win.
yeah.
Because this Texans defense, they're going to put up 20 plus, or offense, this whole team, they're going to put up 20 plus. So I do think the Texans walk out here with another win, and it's impressive to see what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm impressed. I didn't know where you would fall on them, but I'm glad we are both believers in the Texans. I think they're a really underrated team. I know Stroud has been inconsistent since his rookie year, but when they're on, man, they're really on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very compelling team for that reason. Okay, guys, the last NFL game to predict, we have the LA Rams visiting the Chicago Bears. This is where the Bears' wonderful season ends. I think that the Rams offense is simply too strong for the Bears defense to overcome. I think the Rams defense is definitely flawed. But I think that Caleb Williams will probably be able to put up, 30 some points. That's very, very possible. Um, but I think the Rams offense is a little too much for a Bears team to overcome, especially when you factor in how bad the Bears have normally been in like the first half, for example. The Bears have had all these fourth quarter comebacks, and that's been very, very impressive, particularly the 18-point one last week against the Packers. But again, eventually that luck runs out, right? So I'm gonna go with the Rams here, just because I think it's going to be a little bit too big of a hole for Caleb to overcome. I do expect the Bears to go on a run late in the game and make the game a little more competitive, but I don't think that it'll be enough to win. Right now, the Rams are favored by 3.5, and I actually think that's a very appropriate spread. I think the Rams win by a touchdown.
Yeah, this is gonna be a great game, high scoring, not a lot of defense. It just comes down to what quarterback can play better and what team. Both these teams have very high-powered offenses, which is crazy to say about the Bears, but they do. Um, so this game could go either way. We've seen Caleb Williams bring some miraculous comebacks and wins late in the season so far. But I do think this is also where their run ends and their voodoo magic ends for the Bears. Great season though if they do lose. I think it's going to be a very close game. Like you said, by 3. I think that's appropriate. I mean, it's gonna be close.
Yeah.
They Rams can win by a touchdown, but I just don't think the Rams will be able, or the Bears, sorry, will be able to stop the Rams offense. Puka Nacua is just playing too good, and then if you cover Puka Nacua and double him, then you still got Devontae Adams or even, Kobe Parkinson to cover.
Exactly.
So it's just so hard. And then even Kyron Williams can catch out the back foot and run. I mean, it's really tough to stop this offense. Ben Johnson will have a game plan. I'm rooting for the Bears in this game. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off. It'll be very close though.
Well, I have money on the Rams, so I'm going to be rooting for the Rams.
Nice.
But look, the Bears are definitely the feel good story. Ben Johnson's had an incredible rookie campaign as a head coach. The Bears fans should be thrilled, no matter what happens in this game, that they are where they are in Caleb's second season in the league. I mean, it's been a great year for them. They should have no shame. But yeah, I do think that they're gonna, in a close one, come up a little bit short. I completely agree with you. Okay, guys, that leaves only one game left to predict. Eric, it is the big one. It is the college football national championship. Miami is playing in Miami, so it's essentially a home game, but it won't really be because half the tickets will be sold to Indiana fans. So you won't be too much um of a home field advantage, but there's definitely going to be factors there. Right now, Indiana is favored by 8.5, considering how dominant they were in their last two games. I think that spread is very appropriate. Eric, look, you and I have been doubting Miami consistently over the
Yeah.
course of the entire season. I've been proud to say that you and I have been very, very spot on with our observations and our predictions regarding teams, every other team in basically college football and the NFL this year, except for Miami. We keep dropping the ball on doubting Miami. I never would have thought they'd get this far, and look where they are. I mean, it's an incredible. It's been an incredible, last month for them, and we should not discount that. But I think this Indiana team, again, they are the most well coached unit I might have ever seen. They have the Heisman winner as their quarterback. I just think this Indiana team is a little too much for them. And Beck is simply too inconsistent. To win this game, Beck would need to play as well as Fernando Mendoza. And I recognize that Carson Beck has had a very good playoff so far, but he is not going to be as good as Fernando Mendoza. He's just not. I'm sorry. So I do predict Indiana to win this game. I don't think it'll be a blowout again because Miami's defense has been very, very good this year. But I do think they win this because there's just it really does come down to the coaching, man. And I think Cignetti is just so much better than Mario Cristobal. So
Yeah.
Indiana all the way.
Yep. I completely agree. I mean, this game, we've been doubting Miami, this whole season. I'm gonna doubt them again. I'm gonna pick against them again. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just they're just not good enough, man. I don't. I hate to say that because it's like they've got here great season for Miami. But I just don't think they're good enough to pull it off. And I don't. I'm sick of looking at Carson Beck. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I wanted him out, first round because I don't like looking at his face.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say the buck teeth is what kills
the
me, you know,
yeah,
it's that
I
that's
mean,
all.
yeah, the buck teeth, the big forehead. I mean, it's
Everything,
just, I
everything.
mean, hey, but I'm not trying to, get on the guy's looks here, but come on, I'm sick of
Yeah,
looking at him.
yeah.
He's not even that good. And I really like Fernando Mendoza, though. This offense is just too high powered. And if they can blow them out here, we're talking. Now, I understand it's not the star-studded team that 2019 LSU had. We're talking about one of the greatest teams, maybe or one of the maybe top 5 greatest teams of all time, just
I
with a
agree.
turnaround. I think this might be the greatest comeback story in college football history.
I would completely agree with you. I think the fact that 2 years ago this team was truly the laughingstock of the entire sport. I mean, they had the most losses of any power at the time 5 school, and the fact that they are where they are now, what a turnaround, man. I mean, in 2 years to do that in 2 years. I mean, that's just remarkable. They would be the first team to win 16 games. And I agree with you, man. I think you can definitely argue that in terms of talent, 2019 LSU and 2022 Georgia were better. You know, those two 15-0 teams. But honestly, if we're being totally fair, um, I think with all due respect to Ed Orgeron and Kirby Smart, this is the best coaching job of any of those teams I just listed. I mean, Signetti's single season performance this year as a head coach is flawless, truly
It
flawless. I
is,
mean,
yeah.
he makes like no mistakes, legitimately none. And it's remarkable. I completely agree with you. They are a top contender for one of the greatest teams of all time. And the fact that we're saying that about the Indiana Hoosiers in
Yeah, man,
football
in football, I mean,
never ceases
man.
to amaze me, right? So
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
yeah, I agree with you. I'm a Big Ten guy. I am so happy for Indiana. I'm going to be rooting for them hard.
Yeah.
Rooting for them hard. What a story. What a story. But we got to see them on Monday before we can officially declare them one of the best teams ever. We got to see how that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a year. What a year. Okay, guys, that is it for predictions this week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. It was a long one, but there were so many games to cover. Um, that's just how it goes. This episode has been a joy to record with my co-host. As always, we post new episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We post on both YouTube and Spotify. Please follow us on both platforms, and please like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate the support that we've gotten on both platforms this season, and we have a few more weeks to go until the Super Bowl, guys. So we're gonna be going hard till then, and we really really appreciate your support. As always, Eric, do you have anything else to add before we go?
Yeah, it's just been a great time recording this, and can't wait for the next couple weeks here. Huge couple weeks here.
Yeah, guys, I'm actually really looking forward to a number of the games coming up this week. Not just this week, the next few weeks. We should have a pretty good Super Bowl ahead of us. And yeah, it's gonna be fun to talk about. So please tune in, guys. Continuing tuning in every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We really appreciate your support as always. Until then, I'm your host Dan Sisk,
And I'm Mike Schroeder.
and we'll see you then.